How's everybody doing? Welcome to Monday Bible Study. Finish up with Daniel 2, and we'll actually get into the first verse of Daniel 3 as we're on the fourth column on this Monday of my dad's old King James Bible. And we'll be doing some Luke 16 as well. For as much as thou sawest that stone that was cut out of the mountain with hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, and the great God have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So instead of me just going through it, let's just let the New Living do it for us. If there's any mistakes, we'll clean them up. That is the meaning of the rock cut from the mountain, though not by human hands, that crushed it to pieces. We're talking about the statue of iron, bronze, clay, silver, and gold, Mr. King. That's who he's talking to. The great God was showing you, Mr. King, what will happen in the future. The dream is true, and its meaning is certain. So, and that's what we kind of talk about as far as prayer is concerned. Either everything is meant to be, or everything is random. And if everything is random, and then you would be praying for God to fix the random thing to go your way. No, everything is fixed. Either everything is set or everything is random. And nothing is random. Everything is set. So prayer is bowing to the will of the Lord of the set world that you live in. It wasn't like if you didn't pray, you would have died of cancer. But since you prayed, the Lord turned things around and you lived. No, not a magic genie. And that's what they made him be. And when you pray, you're bowing to the will of the Lord. Jesus prayed and said, Lord, if you could remove this cup from me that's coming. So, but not my will, Father, your will be done. You're bowing to his will. You're basically asking for strength to handle his will. Come to him every day. Ask him for the things that you know you can righteously ask for. He already knows the things you need before you ask. How did Jesus tell us how to pray? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Not my will, your will be done. That's how you pray. That's how Jesus prayed and how Jesus told us to pray. So if you've got some things that are weighing heavy on you, you ask him, if it be your will, O Lord, this is what I would like. And they need to be things that are very righteous. You will see that they many times happen for you. But he called you to that prayer, bowing to his will, not your will. So, yeah. They've made prayer wishing, is what they've done. So let's keep going. Then Nebuchadnezzar threw himself down before Daniel and worshiped him. And he commanded his people to offer sacrifices and to burn sweet incense before him. The king said to Daniel, truly your God is greatest of gods, the Lord over kings, the revealer of mysteries. For you have been able to reveal the secret. Then the king appointed Daniel to a high position and gave him many valuable gifts. He made Daniel ruler over the whole province of Babylon, as well as so Babylon, the mother of all harlots, Daniel is actually in charge of it. But they turn on him again. That's coming. Chapter 3. He made Daniel rule over the whole province of Babylon, as well as chief over all the wise men. So he was over the astrologers. But he didn't go in and fire all of the astrologers. There was only so much he could do, but he did it, and he did a great job. And that's what we're to do. We're to go and do a great job on the job. Work hard. That would be something to pray for. To perform your job well, as Daniel was able to perform his job well, but in the manner that it glorifies God, not so you can make more money, but that you, since you are a light and since you don't celebrate Christmas and you show your coworkers your righteousness by not taking part in pagan holidays and not getting involved in strife, gossip, all of that kind of stuff. Oh, excuse me. But you just perform your job well, then you the Lord gets glory from that. And that's something to pray for. Not that you'll be good on the job so you get glory or that you get a raise. I hope that makes sense. At Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be in charge of the affairs of the province of Babylon, while Daniel remained in the king's court. Interesting. Nebuchadnezzar's gold statue. King Nebuchadnezzar made a gold statue 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide and set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. So it's 90 and 9. Interesting. Let's read all of that in the King James. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshiped Daniel and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. And the reason why we like to read this in the King James is so you get familiar with the King James and kind of hear the sweet poetry of it all. Offer an oblation and sweet odors to him. The king answered and said unto Daniel, the king answered unto Daniel and said, I think my eyes were seeing that said and switched the words around. Of a truth, it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many great gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and the chief of the governors over the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold whose height was 80 cubits. 80, 20, 20, 20. But maybe since they're cubits, it's different. I don't know. How much is 80 cubits? 3 by 20, 60 cubits. Oh. How many feet would be 80 cubits?
Here is information from Kyle's converter.
Yep. 80 is 120, so 60 would be 90. You'll see that? 20, 40, 60, 80, 30, 60, 90, 120. Okay. Well, the New Living got the dimensions right, didn't they? 90 feet and 9 feet wide. 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. All right, let's go to Luke. I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his Lord's debtors unto him and said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my Lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. I'm going to go ahead and do all of this in the New Living, because this is going to get pretty tedious, I'm afraid. And I know to ensure that I'll have plenty of friends who will give me a home when I am fired. So he invited each person who owed money to his employer to come and discuss the situation. He asked the first one, how much do you owe him? The man replied, I owe 800 gallons of olive oil. So the manager told him, take the bill and quickly change it to 400 gallons. How much do you owe my employer? He asked the next man. I owe him 1,000 bushels of wheat, was the reply. Here, the manager said, take the bill and change it to 800 bushels. The rich man had to admire the dishonest rascal for being so shrewd. And it is true that the children of this world are more shrewd in dealing with the world around them than they are the children of the light. Here's the lesson. Use your worldly resources to benefit others and make friends. Then your possessions are gone. They will welcome you to an eternal home. If you are faithful in little things, you will be faithful in large ones. But if you are dishonest in little things, you won't be honest with greater responsibilities. And if you are untrustworthy about worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? And if you are not faithful with other people, I told you this would be tedious. It's even tough in the New Living. And if you are not faithful with other people's things, why should you be trusted with things of your own? I think y'all get the idea. No one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. And I think it's God and mammon in the King James. Not real sure. God and mammon. Okay. We've heard that before, right? That quote. All right. Thank you very much. Love you.